There are moments when the conviction of a single soul becomes more powerful than an entire empire. Their stories echo through the centuries, and now we can look them in the eye. Our journey begins with Joan of Arc, the young peasant girl who became an iconic figure in French history. Guided by voices she believed to be divine, she revitalized a demoralized army and altered the course of the 100 Years' War. Yet her unwavering faith was used against her, and her trial became a political spectacle that led to the flames. Her legacy transcended the fire, becoming an eternal symbol of courage and French identity. Martin Luther was the Augustinian monk whose personal crisis of faith sparked a global spiritual revolution. With his 95 Theses, he challenged the authority and practices of the Catholic Church, igniting the Protestant Reformation. Despite his transformative vision, his life was not without controversy, particularly in his later writings. Today, he is remembered not only for reshaping Christianity, but also for shaping modern German through his Bible translation. Spartacus was the legendary Thracian gladiator who turned captivity into one of the most formidable rebellions of antiquity. He forged an army of enslaved people that shook the Roman Republic to its core, exposing the cracks in its power. Though his fight for freedom was crushed with exemplary brutality, his name endures as an immortal symbol of resistance against oppression. Galileo Galilei was the visionary astronomer whose telescope shattered the established cosmic order. He unveiled Jupiter's moons and the phases of Venus, proving that the universe did not revolve around Earth. His defense of science brought him into direct conflict with the Inquisition, forcing a humiliating recantation. Still, his legacy is reason's triumph, a silent whisper that truth, in the end, always moves. Boudica was the formidable queen of the Iceni, a Celtic tribe of Britannia. After suffering brutal humiliation at the hands of the Romans, her fury ignited one of the most devastating rebellions the empire ever faced. Her campaign of vengeance nearly expelled Rome from the island, leaving a trail of destruction. Defeated, yet never conquered in spirit, she became an enduring icon of British freedom and identity. Toussaint Louverture, known as the Black Spartacus, rose from slavery to lead the only successful slave revolution in history. With exceptional political and military brilliance, he navigated complex alliances to establish the state of Haiti. His visionary act challenged even Napoleon, but ended in capture and a lonely death. His legacy proves that the pursuit of freedom can bloom in the unlikeliest places. Simón Bolívar was the man known as the Libertador, whose vow to liberate an entire continent from Spanish rule became his life's mission. His daring crossing of the Andes ranks among history's most remarkable military feats, sealing the fate of the empire in South America. Though his dream of a united Gran Colombia failed, his vision inspired entire nations to fight for their independence. Emmeline Pankhurst was the relentless founder of Britain's suffragette movement, who coined the motto, "Deeds, not words." Frustrated with political inaction, she adopted militant tactics and civil disobedience that shocked Edwardian society. Her fight, which included hunger strikes and imprisonment, was controversial, even dividing her own family. She lived to see her victory, as women gained the right to vote just before her death. Harriet Tubman was the legendary conductor of the Underground Railroad, known as the Moses of her people. Guided by visions and unwavering courage, she escaped slavery and returned south 13 times to rescue hundreds. Her bravery extended further, serving as a spy and military commander for the Union in the Civil War. Her legacy stands as a testament to human resilience and the tireless fight for freedom. Zumbi dos Palmares was the iconic leader of the largest free territory founded by enslaved people in the Americas. The Quilombo of Palmares operated as a true African state within colonial Brazil, resisting for nearly a century. Zumbi's guerrilla strategy defied Portuguese power, cementing him as a legend. Today, he is Brazil's greatest symbol of black resistance and consciousness. William Wallace was a common man from Scotland whose personal tragedy turned him into a rebel leader and national guardian. His tactical victory at the Battle of Stirling Bridge humiliated the powerful English army and inspired a people to fight for sovereignty. Though his brutal execution was meant to instill fear, it made him a martyr and an eternal symbol of the quest for freedom. Tupac Amaru II was a noble descendant of the Incas who led the largest Andean revolt against Spanish rule. After legal efforts for justice failed, he took up arms in a rebellion that rocked the viceroyalty of Peru. His capture and brutal execution were colonial displays of dominance, but the seed of independence he planted inspired liberation movements across the continent.
Hypatia of Alexandria was a brilliant mind, the pagan philosopher who led the Neoplatonic school in a world increasingly ruled by fanaticism. She challenged rising intolerance with the logic of mathematics and astronomy. Her brutal death, a casualty of political intrigue, nearly erased her from history. Rediscovered centuries later, Hypatia is now a symbol of reason and a martyr for science. Jan Hus was the Bohemian reformer who preceded Martin Luther by a century. He defied papal authority and argued for communion to be available to all, an act of theology with vast political impact. Lured to the Council of Constance under false promises of safety, he was betrayed and burned at the stake. His death, however, set off a national firestorm, sparking the devastating Hussite Wars. Ethelfled, the Lady of the Mercians, was the forgotten daughter of Alfred the Great, who became one of the greatest military strategists of her era. In a time dominated by kings and Viking warriors, she ruled and fought, building a fortress network that paved the way for England's unification. Her story, overshadowed by male relatives, is one of a queen who forged a nation. Gracchus Babeuf was the rebel within the French Revolution, a man who believed the revolution hadn't gone far enough. He organized the Conspiracy of Equals, the first known attempt to create a communist republic based on the abolition of private property. Considered the first professional revolutionary, his visionary plan failed, but his ideas echoed for centuries, influencing future socialist movements. Thank you for traveling through time with us. History lives on in the memory and courage of those who shaped it. If you felt the power of these journeys, please like, share, and subscribe to Aura of Ages so that more legacies may be rediscovered. Until next time.